Hey guys, welcome back to Exit Corners. So, before we start, a brief recap of what happened last time. Alright, so yeah, last episode was kind of wild. Like a lot of things happened. So first off, we found out that we actually have 14.5 hours left before the hotel goes boom. And because Ray cheated with his lockpick, one of the pillars were like blown out from the foundation, so now we only have 3 pillars left. And they also noticed that the rooms were randomly arranged without any like sensible order, so we still don't really know where we're at. And as for people acting sus, Ether um tried to like make Ray look sus, but which is really out of character for her in my opinion, because all this time she's been saying, "Oh, no one is suspicious," and now she's like, "Ooh, Ray is kind of suspicious. Like, I don't buy that. Like, something is up. Like, what are you trying to do?" Um, but like, she has a point in that like Ray isn't. She he didn't really have much of a reaction to like the time countdown. Like most people would like panic a bit, like Rink did, but he didn't really have a reaction to that. So yeah, speaking of time, so we can kind of like add 14 hours to 1 p.m. from episode 6. So that would put us at about like 3:30 a.m. In the morning. That would be like the potential deadline when everything would like when they would like, technically die. And also Sent said that it was from when the first contestant woke up. Like who was this first contestant? Like we know it wasn't Ether or Ink. Like who was it? Let's see. Yeah, so we figured out that Ray can lockpick, and we also found out he actually minored in psych. Speaking of psych, um, one of the motives for Ether, as being like an accomplice of sort, would be that she said that she like wants to like understand people. Like you could take that like the wrong way and say that like she wants to like find like know how people work. So that's why she's like putting them through this like um game of sort. So yeah, that could be a possible motive for Ether. Also, okay, yeah. Before we talk about the bombshell that is Beth, we'll talk about Liza first. She wants a mirror because she wants to like check out that her hair is like fine or whatever, and she wants to stay behind when they were about to like proceed. But like, I mean, is this normal? She could just be scared, or that she wants to do something on her own. Like we don't really know. And Beth told her to take some paper and pens to take notes, which is good. As for yeah, this is our main hub, I guess. And now we finally know why it's called exit corners. So they each check their room after they solve the puzzle in the middle. Ink checked the red room, which represents the present, or like if you want to cherish those who are present, I guess. And then green represents the past, and Ether checked this, and it's the one that Sent wants, and the one that we eventually went through. And the reason I'm marking down who checked which doors is like I'm still suspicious of people. Like they could just be fake checking the doors, if yeah. So like one of these other rooms could be unlocked potentially. And as for this study, since Ray cheated with his lockpicking skills, we don't really know what the original puzzle was supposed to be, and if it was significant in any way, like, or is this just something else that's like not important. Yeah, so put it aside for like one of the for like the major theories when they're debunked. So we know that Sent is not one of the contestants, so this theory is like debunked. Um, yeah, okay, yeah. So let's talk about Beth. So first off, we found out that she's a nurse, which explains why she went into detail with that whole boiler scene about how like people like have heat strokes and stuff. Yeah, so she broke her Gemini, and like she said something about making the same mistake twice, and I'm assuming this relates to her son Earl, who is apparently dead, for like has been dead for like this whole time. It's like how has they how were they communicating if he was dead? Like, and I think this relates to what she means by the same mistake twice. She says she can't contact him through normal means. Maybe she had like a spirit ward or something and she broke it. So like that's what she means by the same mistake twice. But yeah, that's really creepy that we've just like found this out. Alright, and now we're on to chapter 10. Blue ink. Skip. What? My son. He's dead, ink. Well, yeah, I got that part. It's just, I mean, if he's dead, how is it you were talking to him? I've been wondering that all morning, my dear. At first I thought Sen was trying to torment me, but when Earl finally replied to my messages, I couldn't believe it. It's nothing short of a miracle. Let's back up a bit, okay? I hate to be the one to ask you this, but you've only been messaging him using your Gemini, right? How can you be sure that the person on the other end is actually Earl? I asked him questions that only he could answer, of course. At least keep the garden alive. Come again? At least keep the garden alive. It was the last thing he ever said to me. He remembers it all, Ink. From the first thing he said to me to the last. That doesn't prove anything. Couldn't he have relayed that information to someone else? A mother knows, Ink. It was Earl that I was talking to. Okay, so for argument's sake, let's say that it is him that you're talking to. So then what? He's back from the dead, I guess? Please. I'm not so naive that I believe that Saint can raise the dead. Then it isn't him. Simple. I'm not quite sure what to think, Ink. Until this morning, I really did believe he was dead. Well, what was his explanation? He tells me he never died, that I'm imagining things. Would it be too invasive to ask how he, passed? He put a gun in his mouth and pulled the trigger. Christ, that's brutal. I am so sorry, Beth. Damn it, I knew I shouldn't have asked. It's fine. I can understand why you're curious. It's been 14 long years since then. I try to forget sometimes. To remember his life, not his death. I'm sorry I didn't dig deeper into the issue. I was overjoyed to hear that my son is alive. I didn't care how. No offense, Beth, but this whole thing is extremely suspicious. I'd be careful before jumping to any conclusions. It doesn't really matter now, does it? It isn't as if I'll ever be able to talk to him again. Bits of plastic and glass fell to the floor as Beth tightened her hold on what remained of her Gemini. What about the rest of your family? My family? Do you have any other kids? Grandkids? Why are you so interested? It's important, trust me. So what's your family like? If you think it's important, then alright, I'll tell you. I didn't want my family to be very large. I myself have 3 brothers and 6 sisters. Oh wow, your nieces and nephews must be beyond counting. My husband had many siblings as well. The 2 of us decided on having a more manageable number of children. Care to guess how many? 1? 1? Just Earl? Not quite. But we didn't want too many children. We knew that having siblings was an important part of growing up. 2 years after Earl was born, we blessed him with a baby sister. Her name was Ellen. Earl and Ellen, huh? I like the alliteration. Isn't it lovely? The letter E just happens to run in the family. You mentioned that you had grandchildren. I suppose your kids had kids? Indeed. Earl and his wife shared a daughter, and Ella and her husband were proud parents of twin boys. Okay. Twins, huh? They say that giving birth to twins is sometimes a hereditary trait. Yes, occasionally. I have 2 sets of twin sisters myself. I still remember the day that Ellen's twins were born. That was probably the happiest I've ever been. Little bundles of joy, the both of them, excludes the cliché. He couldn't help but smile back at Beth as she reminisced. Beth, listen to me. I don't know what happened between you and your son, and I'm sorry that you're no longer able to talk to him. But to me, it seems like you've got plenty of other reasons to keep your chin up. The longer you stand around sulking about your Gemini, the less likely it is you'll see your grandkids again. Not to mention all those nieces and nephews of yours. Keep your head in the game, okay? That's kind of, I don't know. Yeah. I suppose I've been acting rather immaturely about this whole thing, haven't I? You're a very sweet young man, Ink. Clever too, truth be told. You remind me of a young Earl. That's a good thing, right? Very much so. Sorry if that struck you as strange. Let's get going then. I know that whatever time we have left could be put to much better use than hollow flattery on an old woman's story. Let's just make sure we get out of here in one piece. There'll be plenty of time for chit-chat later. Ink followed her into the hallway. Strangely, there was no one there to meet them. Where is everyone? The monitor in here has a blank screen. Does that mean they've already solved the puzzle? Ink ran over to the end of the room and gingerly tugged at the handle. Looks like this door's still locked. If the others aren't in here, that must mean one of these adjacent rooms is unlocked. How about this one? Beth pushed open the door nearest to her, which hadn't been locked. Let's have a look, shall we? Nothing. There's nobody here and no doors other than the one we just entered. I don't suppose there's anything of use in here. Doesn't look like it. Let's try another room then. Oh, Cipher, there you are. I knew I heard someone out here. Are you both alright? You were gone for quite a while. We're fine, dear. Where are the others? We're all in this room over there. Further's on the left. Okay, so they're all in here and they checked this room out. All of the doors here are unlocked, but that's the only one with a puzzle in it. I see. I assume Ray and Liza are working on it as we speak. That's right. They could probably use your help. Our help. Of course, I'm on it. Hey, look decided who to show up. Nice to see you too, Liza. Ink, see if you can make sense of this. A puzzle? Let me have a look. The puzzle featured a string of letters. Ooh, okay. To the untrained eye, the letters were nonsense, but Ink knew better. You know what ciphers are, right? For the most part. I was about to ask you the same thing. Cipher? I barely know anything about ciphers. It's a procedure for encrypting or decrypting data, like a code. In this case, the data is a set of letters. There are a ton of different kinds of ciphers, but based on the ciphertext here, I'd imagine it's either a substitution cipher or something equally easy. I only understood half of that. Listen, I don't exactly feel like giving a lecture on encryption right this second. I'm just gonna get to work. Oh, bummer. I'll show you, Cipher. Would you? I really appreciate it. Hey Liza, could you fetch me a pen and paper? Alright, I can do that. Liza fumbled about in her bag, pulling out a few sheets of paper and a blue pen. She held the items out in front of her. Will this be alright? Yeah, that'll be fine. Ink snatched the items from Liza's extended grip. Holding the slip of paper up against the wall, he quickly jotted down the simplest example he could think of. Alright, come have a look. Okay, so when dealing with encryption, you've got the plain text, which is the message you want to encrypt, and the ciphertext, which is the encrypted message. Now, the way you navigate from plain text to ciphertext is the cipher. This cipher is one of the easiest to learn. It's called Caesar's cipher, and it allegedly dates back to the times of Caesar himself. How Caesar's cipher works is that every letter in the plain text is substituted with a letter that is further along the alphabet, based on the cipher's key. In this example, the key is 3, which can also be represented by a DE. So you replace every letter with the letter that comes 3 letters later in the alphabet. A becomes D, then becomes Q, and so on. Oh, I get it. So if you knew what the key was, you could go back up the alphabet to uncover what the plain text letter was. Precisely. If you go beyond the letter Z, you just loop around to the front of the alphabet and keep going. Does everyone understand how ciphers work? That seems simple enough. So all we need to do is find out which letter is being used as a key? That won't work. Huh? Why not? Because there's no guarantee that this puzzle uses a Caesar cipher. Actually, I say that it's almost impossible. What makes you say that? A Caesar cipher would make it way too easy to solve, especially a short code like this. I know that. I was just using the Cipher cipher as an example since it's really easy to understand. There are a ton of different kinds of ciphers. Well, I mean, it might not even be a substitution cipher at all. So how should we proceed? If you like, Ray, you could try your hand at more advanced code breaking, while I try to solve it as if it were a substitution cipher. Fine, but you'll need to let me write up a substitution cipher chart for you. I think I'll be able to handle it on my own, thanks. Liza, give me a pen and some paper. Huh? I thought Ink said he'd be fine on his own. Ink doesn't know what he's talking about. He's gonna need my help with this. Are you sure about that? It sounded like he was pretty familiar with ciphers. Besides, Ink seems to be better at you at solving puzzles anyway. Fuck off. Ink isn't better than me. Okay, please stop. Huh. Ink's usually the one to come up with an answer, not you. Don't be so petty, Ray. Honestly, I didn't expect a guy your size to get so butthurt about something like this. Shut your goddamn mouth. And don't talk about who solved what when you haven't fucking solved anything yourself. Beth doesn't even want to break them up anymore. Can't say I blame her though. Cut it out, guys. You started this argument over a piece of paper. So am I gonna get this piece of paper or what? Here, use mine if it matters that much. Ink tore off the bottom half of his sheet and handed it to Ray. Snatching the pen from Ink's hands, Ray headed to the corner of the room and began scribbling away. Must you antagonize him so much? Psst. He's the one who started it. Yeah, sure. By the way, Ink. How is it that the both of you know so much about ciphers? I'm not an expert or anything, but you study English and Ray studied computer science. They aren't really related, are they? Well, no, not exactly, but cryptography used to be something that linguists did. It used to be all about turning letters into different letters, often using letters of combinations of letters as keys. So there were a lot of letters involved, you know. Didn't you say you didn't know about it? As technology advanced though, ciphers grew increasingly complex, so complex that it fell upon mathematicians, not linguists, to try to create and solve them. These days, almost all encryption is done on computers, so it makes sense that it's more of a computer science thing. Is that about right? Yeah, actually, I was just about to say that. I see. It's a really cool field, Liza. You should read up on it if you're interested. Cipher, didn't you just say that you weren't especially familiar with ciphers? Yeah, I'm with Beth on this. This is very sus. Oh, well, I'm not. Not really. I knew that one little thing, that's all. I see. Maybe we ought to get started. Yeah, let's solve this thing. Huh, Ink, you're not gonna say anything? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna have to actually solve this. So, I'm assuming that RUP is probably an article of some sort. As in, like, probably like and or D. I'm gonna try D, like as in THE. So give me a second. Just a wild guess, but C is the exit. Okay. Sent sees the exit. Nice one, Ink. So it was the substitution cipher after all. Now that I think about it, Sent is a pretty weird name. I mean, it's obviously not his real name, but why would you call yourself Sent of all things? Do you think it could be an acronym? Maybe it stands for super evil something something. I've got nothing. It's just a stupid name. I shouldn't have even asked about it. Oh shit. Huh? What is it, Ray? I forgot to give you my cipher substitution chart. My bad, guys. Don't worry about it. I managed to figure it out anyway. Yeah, I guess. Could I see it? Yeah? Why? I like to understand ciphers a little better in case we run into a similar puzzle in the future. Oh, well, here it is. Knock yourself out. Ray passed a half-torn sheet to Eva. She inspected it closely. Something the matter? Could you quickly help me understand how this works, Ink? Sure thing. Just show it to me. So here you've got the, something's wrong. Go on. What's wrong with me? Why am I so weirded out by this? Ink? Yo, Ink, the girl asked you a question. Or should I explain it instead? Okay, so shut up! Ink, what's going on with you? Just be quiet. Everyone be quiet. It doesn't make any sense. We use the same one. Ray. What? Look at your chart. What about it? Trying to find out what's wrong, but I don't get it. What are you talking about? It isn't even filled in. Oh, speaking of which, I guess you want your pen back, huh? Ray held the pen out in front of him. Rather than take it, Ink bent down on one knee and examined it. What the hell are you doing? Ink lifted himself back onto his feet, napping the pen on his way up. Your chart is blue. Duh, it's a blue pen and it's filled with blue ink. You're wrong. Here, look at this. We used the same pen, but our ink was a different color. See? The other contestants said nothing. I have a pen just like this one at home, and the ink is black. Okay, so how about we try writing a bit more? Ink flipped his diagram over. Slowly, he dragged the pen across the top of the page. See? It's black. Ray, I want you to write something down again. Fine. Ink handed Ray the pen, which he then used to trace a line right next to Ink's. Blue. Oh, huh. Neat. I guess there's a bit of blue ink in there. That's how you explain it? Really? Yup, cause that's the only possible way you could explain it. It's just a manufacturing screw up. Nothing to get excited about. No, there's more to it than that. Like what? Is it a magic pen or something? I don't know. I'm not sure what happened exactly, but... Ink, don't you think you're taking this a bit too far? It's strange, I'll admit, but you think this is funny, don't you? I never said that. Well, stranger things have happened to us today. Ink could be onto something. I mean, his name is Ink, literally. You know, possibly. I'm not crazy. We never said you were crazy, just calm down. There are more important things to worry about right now. Cipher is right. It may be a bit strange, but it's just ink. Just ink, huh? Great. Good to have everyone on board. Are you done then? I recommend getting a move on, pronto. I'm with Ray. The door in the hallway ought to be unlocked now. The other contestants nodded and followed Ray's lead. Ink, strangely out of breath, brought up the rear. Ink felt even worse as he crossed into the hallway. He was drooling, almost, his saliva turning salty sweet. As expected, the door at the end of the hall had been unlocked. One by one, the other contestants filed through the door. Ink began to follow the other contestants, but at the last second, he slipped into an adjacent room instead. I don't understand. He let himself fall onto the bed. Why am I the only person worried about the ink? The ink. Everyone has seen it. The ink was black when Ink used the pen, but blue when Ray used it. Ink was convinced that it simply wasn't possible. Ugh, I don't fucking get it. It was all wrong. The ink was wrong. The pen was wrong. The hotel was wrong. Something always wrong. Ink nearly fell backwards. The room was suddenly alive, churning like a river of paint. A wave of nausea overcame him as he sank to his knees. Ink tried to fight it, to stand up straight, but the room just wouldn't hold still. What? Something began to claw at the inside of his stomach. The pain consumed him. He couldn't stand. He couldn't even scream. The room continued to twist and bend as he gasped for air. Surely, he thought, his stomach was going to explode. Finally, he coughed, heaving a fist-sized clump of bloody mucus onto the floor. Stop! Please, make it stop! The pain was relentless. Ink searched for something, anything, that might help him. It was at that moment that it appeared. Ink saw a thread. It was a tiny little thing. The thread was the only thing that wasn't moving. Ink reached for it. What is going on? The thread opened wide. Reaching for it had been a mistake. Ink knew what had happened when one pulled a loose thread too far. The world, seemed undone, was torn. Behind it lay nothing. The hole in the world had trapped him. It threatened to swallow him whole. No, please. He would never make it to the door with that tear in the way. Panicked, Ink reached for his final recourse, the device in his pocket. Sean. Yeah? What is it? Please help me. Now. Is it happening again? Worse. I can't. Please. Help me. I have to type. Please. Sean, where are you? Sean. I'm here, buddy. Calm down. You're just a bit scared. We all get scared sometimes. You need to breathe deep, buddy. In, 2, 3, out. And just like we practiced, arms up, chin up. I'm not going anywhere. Ink looked up from his Gemini to find that the hole had only grown wider. He lifted his trembling arms into the air, fighting to keep them upright. One breath, then another. One, then another. It's useless. Sean can't help me now. It's over. You need to raise your chin. Cipher was there. She didn't notice the tear behind her. In fact, she seemed to walk right through it. Slowly, it closed. Ink wondered if it was even there at all. That's a breathing exercise, right? You need to raise your chin, too. If you keep it tucked into your chest like that, you won't get enough air. Ink stared at the girl, stupefied. What had just happened? Had Cipher been the one to stop it? How long have you been there? I came in just a moment ago. I heard you yell, and... I'm sorry. Should I leave? No, it's okay. Please stay. What's going on, Ink? There's blood all over the floor, and your clothes too. I don't... It's... Please just tell me you're okay. I am okay. Ink was far from okay. But strangely, the worst of it appeared to be over. His breathing was normal, and even though he was still a little lightheaded, he wasn't at the mercy of the feeling in his gut. Okay. Was that a panic attack? Is that... I don't know. Huh. What happened here? I think I'm going crazy. I think I'm going crazy, Cipher. Okay. Chapter 11. Ill. Oh, is it ill or is it just this? Free. Skip. Ink. You really shouldn't joke around about stuff like that. I'm not kidding around, Eva. Something's not right with me. I think I'm having hallucinations. That means something's wrong with me, right? No sane person would just have visions out of nowhere. Describe these hallucinations of yours. I think I'd just end up sounding more crazy if I did that. Try me. Okay, well, I saw some kind of gash. It looked like the room was torn right in half. The room started to bend. The walls were all wobbly. The floor wouldn't sit still. I was so disoriented. I couldn't even stand up. And then, at the edge of my vision, there was the thread. I reached for it, and that's when the tear appeared. And what's more is that you didn't see it at all. You just walked into the room as if it weren't there, which it probably wasn't. I didn't see anything, that's true. Do you think it's possible that I have schizophrenia? Whoa there, don't you think you might be jumping the gun a bit with that one? You tell me, you're the hotshot psych student, right? I'm just a freshman, remember? I'm still taking the introductory courses. What you're talking about is something I only study if I were to go into the clinical branch of psychology. At Bellbridge U usually don't choose a specialization until year 3. I mean, I'm sure intro psych will tell you what schizophrenia is, but yeah, you probably do need to like diagnose someone based on like the DSM. Yeah. So you don't know anything then? Well, I haven't been taught anything about it in school. I've read about it on my own time, but anything I told you wouldn't really count as expert advice. I guess that's to be expected. Still, let's start with the most basic question. Have you ever been diagnosed with a mental illness? Oh no, but I've done some research. Ink, reading an Internet MD article doesn't count as research. A professional diagnosis is the only thing that should matter. What if I told you that one of my parents was mildly schizophrenic? Doesn't that increase the likelihood of being diagnosed? Well, yes, okay, it does. But still, the chances of... I'm about the right age for it to develop too. Ink, listen to yourself. Is this something you want? I don't want it to take me by surprise, that's all. Well, from what I remember, their hallucinations are usually auditory. You know, like voices in your head. Usually auditory, which I take it means that some more serious hallucinations have been documented. Ink, you aren't going to develop full-on psychosis out of the blue like that. Have you ever had any hallucinations before? Not that I know of, no. But I have had other symptoms. Disorganized thoughts, paranoia. Those symptoms could be anything though. Anxiety, OCD, depression. Try not to give this any more thought. It isn't doing you any good. It scares me, you know? The words just came spilling out of Ink's mouth. He wondered if there was a part of him that wanted Eva to know. Losing control, not being able to trust my own senses. It scares me more than anything Scent could throw at me. There's nothing wrong with being afraid. Ink slumped over and put his head into his hands. This game is getting to me. I'm counting on you to be strong, okay? Eva pat his shoulder. She was warm. Ink could feel the heat of her palms even through his jacket. She might have been a stranger just a few hours ago, but now there was at least one other person in the world who has some measure of faith in Ink. He couldn't help but be happy. Exit corners be damned. Gemini. Oh crap. I forgot all about Sean. Ink reached for his Gemini. Ink, where are you, bud? Don't wander off. I'm here. Are you breathing like I told you to? Keep at it for a few more minutes. Stand up if it helps. Don't worry, I'm better now. It stopped. What? Just like that? Just like that. You should take a small breather just to be safe. I will. Thanks for your help. Doesn't sound like I helped a whole lot, but glad you're okay. What was it in the end? A panic attack? It was weird. I'll fill you in later. Was cute little Eva around to help you out? Maybe. What'd she do to stop you out of it? I don't know. She just showed up and everything went back to normal. Dang, you better wife this girl pronto. I'm just telling you what happened. You don't have to tease me. I'm not teasing you. For real though, you should introduce us when you're out of there. The thought of the two of you meeting disturbs me. Why? Scared I steal her away from you? Okay, now you're teasing me. A little bit, yeah. You need my help with anything else? No, not right now. Just be ready in case I find a lead for you. How much longer do I have to stay in your room? I'm getting bored. Maybe you should come join me then. I promise you'll be far from bored. Funny guy, but for real, can I scoot? I don't see why not. Just keep your Gemini on you. Will do. Talk to you later. Ink looked up from his Gemini to see Eva staring down at her own. She always looks so sad when staring at that thing. So what's Sean up to? Is he still trying to help us escape? He's been investigating the hotel and my abduction. I don't think he's gotten any closer to actually getting us out of here, but I'll take any information I can get. Are the two of you close? I say so, yeah. I've only been friends with him for maybe 2 years, but he looks out for me. Even if he is a bit of a dick sometimes. Next time he's being a dick, just uppercut him real hard in the mouth. My Psych 101 textbook says that that's the best way to condition someone to treat you better. Really? No, I made that up. But hey, it could be true for all I know. You've got a strange sense of humor, girl. How about you, huh? Has your father made any progress yet? No, sorry. I'm trying my best to get him to cooperate. He's not helping you? Or has he just not replied to you yet? Eva sighed and whispered something to herself before responding to Ink. He's talking to me, but... well, he never liked me very much. Even now, he's telling me not to send him any more messages. He's got more important people to talk to, apparently. He doesn't care that you're in danger? He doesn't believe a word I'm saying. Jeez, your dad sounds like an asshole. How do you put up with that? I guess I'm just used to it at this point. He's always yelling at me. Part of me doesn't blame him. He sort of got stuck with me. Damn. I don't even know what to say. I want to ignore him, but at the same time, his help might be essential to completing this game. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to think anymore. I mean, if he doesn't believe you, then he's not gonna believe you. Come on, put that thing away. It isn't important. Who's to say? What if our Gemini are essential to completing exit corners? I'm not so sure about that. So far, none of our contacts have done anything useful to actually help us escape. And Beth broke hers, so like, if it will help us escape, like, hers isn't working anymore. There must be a reason, though. Sam wouldn't have given these to us otherwise. Our Gemini are the key to getting out of here. I just know it. I feel you, Eva. I really do. But I don't think any of us can know what Sam's master plan is. He might just be using our Gemini to mess with us, or to give us false hope. If they are important, then we'll figure out what their purpose is later on. No sense in getting hung up on it now. Our contacts haven't exactly proven to be useful as of yet. Yeah, maybe you're right. Besides, you've always got this gloomy look about you when you're staring at that thing. It's bumming me out. Oh, I'm sorry. You don't need to apologize. I just think you could afford to smile a bit more. You think so? For sure. You've got a contagious smile. Aw, thanks, Ink. That's very sweet of you. I try. Come on, let's rejoin the others before they get suspicious. Sure. Eva followed Ink back through the adjoining hallway into the newly unlocked room. It took Ink's eyes a moment to adjust to the sudden darkness. This place looks like one of Sean's old hangouts. I wonder if that's real booze back there. The layout of the room seemed familiar, but Ink felt uneasy all the same. He found himself turning away from the oppressive glare of the lights above the bar. The other standout source of light was the blue glow radiating from the monitor. Just as Ink would have guessed, Beth and Ray were already underway with the puzzle. Equally unsurprising was Liza's lack of involvement. She was staring at her Gemini from the comfort of a cushioned stool. That was of course until Ink wandered over. Think you could take longer next time? I feel like we don't spend enough time on these puzzles. There was an emergency. Besides, you don't appear to be helping either. Yeah, well this is an emergency too. Ink! What? Why are you looking at me like that? What happened to you? Why are you covered in blood? Oh, Ink didn't have an answer. His absent-mindedness had gotten the better of him, and he found himself with no excuses. Look at you. It's all over your clothes. Ink knew that he was far beyond being able to conceal what had happened. He stayed still as Beth inspected his sleeves and scarf. There must have been some caked blood left on Ink's face, as Beth began wiping the corners of his mouth. She was rougher than he would have liked though, and he eventually put himself away. You've still got some blood on your upper lip. Ink hurriedly wiped it away, but neither Beth nor Liza would divert their attention. Tell me what happened, now. I wasn't feeling well, so I ducked into one of the other hotel rooms back there. I was nauseous, you know? And then I just kinda vomited blood everywhere. You should have come to me immediately. I didn't want anyone to panic. Wait, so is this the same thing that was happening to me? If so, what causes it? Is it fatal? See? Like that. It seems like the same thing Lisa had. I was there for both. I see, that's a bit of a relief, actually. We don't know for sure if this is the same illness, but given the circumstances, I'll be surprised if they weren't related. Don't call it an illness. Does the word frighten you? It's just... we don't know what it is yet. What's all the fuss about over here? Something you folks feel like sharing? Were you not listening? No, I'm doing a puzzle. Ink was coughing up blood. At a glance, it's the same thing that affected Liza earlier. Oh, huh. That's all you have to say? What else is there to say? Whatever it is that's causing this bleeding, it hasn't killed either of you yet. Aren't you concerned at all? If 2 of us have shown signs of this illness so far, it isn't impossible that the rest of us have it. Who says it's even an illness though? Well, I just assumed, I guess. It isn't normal, you know? What do you think, Beth? You're a nurse after all. I was a nurse. I retired some time ago, my dear. Even if I am still technically registered. Anyway, I'm aware that I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but I'm not terribly sure what it could be. If we're lucky, your bodies are having a reaction to whatever sleeping agent they drugged us with. And if we aren't lucky, it would be best not to dwell on that. As it stands, we won't be able to treat it until we get out of the 4 elements. Scent did this to us. I don't know if I go as far as to say that. Oh, sorry. I guess the part where we've both gotten sick on the very same day that we've been kidnapped is complete coincidence. This was planned, just like the rest of this stupid game. We were poisoned. That is incorrect. Ink quickly jogged back over to the monitor. Scent made this room too big. The screen at the end of the room, which a moment ago had displayed a puzzle, now featured Scent's crude avatar. The contestants huddled around it. Oh, so you want to talk now? Pardon me for eavesdropping. I simply wanted you all to get your facts straight. You were not poisoned. Given the purpose of the game, that simply would not do. Oh yeah? What's the fucking purpose of the game then? Once again, Ray, I find your uncouthness disappointing. Why can't you be more like Ink? Are you trying to make us argue amongst ourselves? Is that what you're getting at? Of course not. I'm merely trying to show my appreciation for Ink. I think you ought to leave right now, Scent. Ooh, and I think you ought to talk to your family. But we both know neither of us will get what we want. Why so quiet, Bev? Is something the matter? How did you get hold of Earl, Scent? Do you honestly think I'm going to answer that? Please, I need to know. Please. Perhaps if you hadn't dropped your Gemini, you'd have found out. Pity. Will you just leave us alone? You certainly speak softly, don't you, Ether? Could you please repeat that? Leave her alone, Scent. We can't play exit corners if you keep interrupting us like this. That's what you want, right? You want us to play this game, don't you? Oh. Very well. How you sway me so, Ink. Before I leave, however, I'd like to reiterate that you have not been poisoned. Poison would be unfair. Believe it or not, I want you to beat the odds and live another day. Most of you, that is. Prove it then. Let us go. Perhaps I will. Perhaps I will. Ink. I would like to speak to you in private. Please remain alone in this room once the puzzle has been completed. Or you could die. Before Ink could probe Scent about why he was being singled out, the screen turned dark. A short moment later, it brightened anew, and the puzzle was visible once again. He sure seems to have taken a liking to you, Ink. I wish I could say I was flattered, but it mostly just creeps me out. I wonder what he wants to tell you in private. Fuck him. You don't owe him any of your time. Focus on the puzzles instead. You two have been spending way too much time talking in private as it is. I doubt that his request is for our benefit. I say you turn him down as well. What if it's important? I doubt that. He's just gonna continue to taunt you or something. I still need to think about it. I don't want him to detonate another one of those explosives, you know? Let's just do this puzzle while I mow it over. Fine. Let's hurry it up. Ray and Bev turned to the monitor, eager to continue from wherever it was they had left off. Eva shrugged and joined them. Ink started for the monitor too, but felt a tap on the shoulder. Yeah, what is it? You're feeling better now, right? It doesn't hurt anymore? Oh, no, I'm fine now. I see. Why the sudden concern? Is that really all you wanted to ask me? Ink, do you feel any different since you woke up this morning? Different how? Mentally different, physically different, just different. Other than hemorrhaging, no, I feel the same. I mean, yeah, I'm a little more paranoid than I usually am. I'm more tense than usual too, but I assume this kind of reaction isn't so strange considering our situation. And you know, I usually don't go around coughing up blood everywhere, but otherwise I feel normal. Was that the answer you were looking for? No, not really. Didn't think so. Sorry I couldn't be of any help. Whatever. Come on, let's solve this puzzle. Right. After you. Okay, spell Jade. So Bev says something about dominoes and Ether gave us Jade in Morse code. Let's see if we can try and do something with it. There we go. Puzzle solved. That doesn't make any sense. Should the answer be 9034? No, it's 0145. A is the first letter of the alphabet. Does that mean that it should be represented by the letter 1? In most programming languages, the first index in an array is 0, not 1. That's why I thought A would be 0, B would be 1, all the way up to J, which would be 9. It would have worked out perfectly because you can't display any digits with a value greater than 9 on a domino, but for some reason, A is 1 and J is zilch. That isn't the way it's supposed to be. Does it even matter now? We've already solved the puzzle, so there's no point in dwelling on it. Ugh, it was a stupid puzzle, that's all. There we go. That one wasn't too bad. It took longer than I thought it would. Ink, are you staying? I think I might. Huh? Why stay? Said he wanted to speak to me in private, remember? Oh, right. Are you seriously going to give in to his request? To hell with that guy. Nothing good will come of speaking with him. You ought to just ignore him. What makes you also sure it's a him? It could be anyone behind that avatar. Whoever they are, they've gone mad long ago. I can't condone speaking with them unless absolutely necessary. Yeah, but let's just go, Beth. He's made up his mind. Ink, make it quick. I'll try. Don't let him trick you. I won't. Now alone, Ink approached the monitor. He stared at the completed puzzle for a time, wondering if he should just turn tail and rejoin the others. What do you want, Sent? The screen didn't so much as flicker. Ink sighed. Send. I had a feeling you remember. Well done. Yeah, don't you feel special? Who wouldn't feel special in my position? I'm in complete control after all. I can't speak for the lot of you, but I am certainly enjoying myself. What do you want from me? I want to spend time with you, that's all. I want to converse with you. I told you to cut the crap. What do you really want? You think I was lying? Why do you doubt me so? 'Cause you're trying to kill me, maybe? No, absolutely not. Have I not mentioned that I want my contestants to live? Especially you, Ink Greer. Why are you so fucking obsessed with me? Because you're intelligent, which is a trait I admire. You've already so cleverly deduced that I've been watching a lot of you. I'll have you know that I've been keeping an especially close eye on you, Mr. Greer. You're almost too clever. Not only are you an expert at solving puzzles, but you've also deduced a lot about exocorners and about myself. You're kind too. You put others' needs before your own. Try to keep your fellow contestants calm, and always seem to want to lend an ear. I also happen to think you're a very funny fellow. Know that I have been laughing at all your jokes, even when the others have not. Something was off. To receive compliments from one's abductor felt strange indeed. Ink crossed his arms. Why are you telling me this? I am telling you this because I believe you ought to know what a wonderful young man you are. I'm beginning to feel a certain connection between us. Connection? What's that supposed to mean? I suppose what I'm trying to say is, I love you. Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure Sim does not love you, so there's that. Alright, okay, that was Exit Corners. And we'll be back with another episode very, very soon. So don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you want to see it ASAP, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.